Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. A man has been charged with murder in relation to the disappearance of missing teenager Cheyenne Lee Tatnall. It comes after human remains were discovered late yesterday afternoon at Nabola in the state's northeast. For more, we're joined live by reporter Annie Green now. Annie, what do we know so far?
Lou, details are scant so far, but what we do know is that he's a 36-year-old from Scottsdale. He was taken into custody in Launceston earlier this afternoon, where he was later charged. We're expecting that he'll face court tomorrow. Now, police are still waiting to confirm whether the body that was discovered at Nabola yesterday afternoon does in fact belong to Cheyenne Lee Tatnall. That kind of identification process can take up to a week. But it's a grim ending for a search that's captured the hearts and minds of Tasmanians for months. A discovery they were desperate for, but an outcome they were dreading. Investigators begin a second day in the northeast.
In my 28-year career, I've not seen a search of this magnitude.
Police establishing crime scenes at both Nabola and a property in Scottsdale. Forensics combing through the house and land, using high-tech, ground-penetrating radar in the search for evidence.
We have got Forensic Science Services Tasmania and our forensic experts, as well as our partner agencies assisting us with searches.
The methodical process coming after a wide-scale operation in dense bushland yesterday. Police following a scant trail to the northeast over nearly 3 months of investigations around Launceston.
Today is a really significant step forward in that journey towards finding answers.
The efforts to find Cheyenne have eclipsed anything that's come before. Police have scoured CCTV to track her last known movements and find motorists who may have seen her. They've launched ground, air and water searches around the North Esk River close to where she vanished, and even stopped evening traffic on Henry Street Bridge, hoping to jog memories.
The level of commitment and dedication, the passion that I have seen in finding answers to this case has just been incredible.
This 7.5 kilometre stretch of road near Nabola has been closed for much of the day as investigators catalogue the crime scene. Police presence significantly scaled back from yesterday's major search, which has been described as the largest ever in northern Tasmania's history.
And as you saw yesterday, to have 180 people come out and support the Tasmanian community in finding answers is just incredible.
Originally from Burnie, Cheyenne had only been living in Launceston for a fortnight before she disappeared. On the night she vanished, it's thought she was walking to meet a friend, but she never made it. A waking nightmare for her family.
I'm sure the Tasmanian community can understand. It must just be a harrowing time for them.
It's an evolving situation, Lou, but authorities are saying that they'll do everything they can to find answers for her family.
Hopefully we have those answers soon. Thank you for that, Annie Green, reporting for us there. Turning to the day's other news now, and if you're looking to hire at the moment, there's a fair chance you're struggling to find suitable employees. Tasmania is dealing with a workforce shortage, with our ageing population playing a role.
Healthcare, education, construction. It seems nobody can find enough employees.
Every industry's crying out for staff. Hospitality is no different.
Tasmania has a workforce problem. There's record low unemployment at 3.8%, and the labour shortage could get worse, with less young people entering the workforce than exiting it.
Over the next 15 years, we're going to see around 100,000 Tasmanians exiting the workforce due to retirement.
And worryingly, we've seen net migration out of the state in the last year.
Our economy has obviously been performing quite well. There is obviously workforce demand and the opportunity to get jobs is definitely there. So why are more people leaving Tasmania?
Tasmania's public sector union says there are gaps in essential services, calling for greater workforce planning.
You know the jobs you're going to need in the future. You train people you have up to do those jobs in the future, and you bring an opportunity for younger people to come into the public sector at its base.
Young people hold the key. We simply need more. They also have to be trained or educated, And we need to be recruiting skilled workers from interstate or overseas.
With high vacancy rates, that's the best way to stimulate that younger demographic of tradies and qualified professionals to make their home here.
Rather than seeing them import more people into Tasmania, we want to see young Tasmanians in particular getting a head start with great education.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government says it's still charged up for the possibility of Marinus Link. Labor is claiming a less than enthusiastic radio interview from Guy Barnett is proof the Energy Minister is about to pull the plug on the deal.
He said he needs to see whether it stacks up. Well, he's been saying for years that it does stack up. In fact, he's been insisting and he's been attacking anyone who says that it doesn't.
Once again, Dean Winters talking out of the top of his hat. We're working through one of the most exciting energy infrastructure developments. We're working through it methodically, professionally and with good advice.
A final investment decision on the $3.8 billion project is expected from the government next year. A significant win for Tasmania, with Elphinstone landing a lucrative role in an armoured carrier deal. The Northwest manufacturer scoring a major slice of the multi-billion-dollar contract set to bolster the country's defence capabilities.
A major coup for a Tasmanian defence manufacturer. Elphinstone enlisted to help deliver the next generation of combat vehicles.
From a size perspective, we are manufacturing and fabricating the largest component of the vehicle.
It's now in charge of creating the armoured hulls set to become the heart of a new fleet of nearly 130 tank-like vehicles.
Critically important to get that right. That's what protects our infantry soldiers.
The Northwest Company playing a significant role in the rollout of Land 400 Phase 3 program, entering into another partnership with Hanwha, who add the finishing touches in Geelong.
They will have a really significant role in improving the capability of our army.
This is a massive show of faith from the Commonwealth Government in not just Australian manufacturing, but in Tasmania here as well.
The project will create 50 jobs on the Northwest and pump millions of dollars into the state's economy in what's shaping up to be Tasmania's single biggest ever defence supply contract.
It not only creates jobs during the construction of the new Land 400 units, but it also builds on what Tasmania can do in the future.
An armed contract locked and loaded for Wynyard. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
The Launceston City Council has a third deputy mayor in as many months, with Hugh McKenzie voted in as second in command. The long-serving councillor filling the role recently made vacant after Matthew Garwood was elevated to mayor. McKenzie selected by other councillors at an ordinary meeting this afternoon, beating Andrea Dawkins and Andrew Palmer, who had also entered the race. It's hard to single someone out from the tsunami of runners rolling through the Burnie 10 each year, but there's one face you could see every time. Jared Leary has run in all 38 editions of the famous foot race, and he's ready to go toe-to-toe with a stopwatch once again.
There's the Burnie 10 Hall of Fame. Think Steve Monaghetti, Robert De Castella, Craig Mottram, Stuart McSwain. And then there's the Hall of Same, the same names which have run in every Burnie 10 since 1985.
I used to run under 40 minutes. I'm now battling to get under an hour.
Jared Leary is among only 4 people to have entered all 38 Burnie Gutbusters. He remembers the very first. Ironically, winner Steve Monaghetti was the one starstruck when Leary introduced him to Burnie's football champion John Greening.
Here's this bloke, what's your name? Steve Monaghetti. And introduced him to John Greening, made his day.
Locals can once again rub shoulders with running royalty, with entries open for the race on October 29. This year will end with a street party at the finish.
Those runners, once they finish, will come and party hard with us.
And Straight Link has come on board as a 3-year sponsor.
An iconic race that involves the community and promotes, fun and fitness.
Fitness, which will be put to the test. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Some of the world's best technology is being put to the test with a new high-tech asphalt plant officially opening in Launceston. The more than $10 million facility is now fully operational, replacing an existing plant which had reached the end of its working life.
It is about making sure it's a sustainable solution What we do at Downer is make sure that whatever we put into the road network is perpetually recyclable. We do not want to ever leave a legacy for any future generation.
The new facility will triple the hourly production rate, increasing the use of recycled materials to build Tasmanian roads. And Tasmania's hospitality sector is thinking outside the box, appointing the nation's first Chief Happiness Officer. It's part of an ongoing commitment to strengthen the well-being of workers and prosperity of the industry.
She's both the Director of Energy Health and founder of the Mind Games. Sherry Ring now being toasted on a third title as the Tasmanian Hospitality Association's Chief Happiness Officer.
I feel really excited. I'm incredibly passionate about health and wellbeing.
And it shows. Sherry running the Hospo Health program since it started in November, equipping staff with positive habits to improve their wellbeing.
There's a bunch of research that shows for every dollar you spend on the health and wellbeing of your staff, there's a $2.30 return. So it's a no-brainer.
Off the back of COVID, no one was working longer hours than a lot of the staff in our industry. So we have had a lot of burnout, and we will continue to have a lot of burnout if we don't provide this sort of assistance.
Sherry's job of keeping workers happy will be a big one, with more than 24,000 people employed in the hospitality industry.
The employee-customer reaction is going to be so much better because everybody's happy in that scenario.
Other sectors now encouraged to follow suit and appoint their own Chief Happiness Officer. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Willie Smiths has teamed up with the Support, Hope and Education Group to raise much needed funds for gynecological cancer. The partnership comes during Dry July. $10 from every carton of non-alcoholic cider sold will go towards support for families and for patients and their families. For SHE Chair Scott Harris, it's a cause close to his heart after losing his wife to cancer earlier this year.
The really significant issue is that the 5-year survival rate with ovarian cancer alone is the same as it was in 1979.
What better way is going dry in July and celebrating, feeling fitter, healthier and more connected to community by partnering with a wonderful foundation like this.
The company is on track to hit its $5,000 target.
Lauderdale's coach has once again warned of the potential setbacks axing the TSL could create. Both Launceston clubs earlier this week joined forces, demanding a rethink about the decision. Alan Christensen is concerned about the impact on coaches, saying the change might force him and others interstate.
They've got to be able to develop at a high level because there's no way that an AFL club will just take on a random bloke who's been training once or twice a week.
The Bombers, meanwhile, face North Hobart in a must-win clash this weekend. First bounce is at Skybus Oval at 2 p.m. on Saturday. It's a charity born from cricket, but instead old Scotch footballers will pledge their mark to the McGrath Foundation this weekend. The club will pull on new colours for its inaugural Pink Round, raising vital funds and awareness for breast cancer, a cause close to players' hearts.
Really good opportunity just to raise awareness for it, just with the amount of females now we've got at the club with a cause that takes too many lives.
They will know somebody who's got cancer or breast cancer and want to get out there and support it and spread the message that, we all need to be aware.
The 3 teams hoping to pull off extra special wins when they host Scottsdale and Devondale on Saturday. One of the Jack Jumpers recruits says he's okay with having no guarantees about playing time this season. Junior Madut says he'll take any opportunity thrown at him as he prepares to make history at the upcoming FIBA World Cup.
A reason to celebrate for this new Jack Jumper. This week both Junior Madut's birthday and his first week in Tasmania.
It's good to come here for a week, get a taste of what I'm going to see for the rest of the season.
It's a quick visit though. He and fellow teammate Majok Deng will fly to Asia soon, representing South Sudan at the FIBA World Cup. The historic moment not lost on him.
Something that people in my country are going to be very proud of, and just going back and knowing my family and all those people that are back there just looking forward to the games.
Signed from the Phoenix, he also starred in the recent NBL 1 season. Promised nothing by Scott Roth, he's comfortable with having to earn his stripes.
And that's something I gravitate towards. I feel like if I'm given the opportunity to earn my spot, I'm going to do my best. And
he's around great guys. I think he'll be in a situation to learn our system and grow in our system.
Players were put through their paces on the first week of pre-season.
It's turned up from the moment they come in the building. We don't allow them to have anything other than to come here and work.
One aspect a key focus.
Defense. The teams that play defense are the teams that usually get into the playoffs. Teams that play defense usually win championships.
Will Magnay still restricted to the bike at this stage? The club is expecting an update in coming weeks.
I think in 3 weeks he has his doctor's appointment. After that 3 weeks, if he gets it clear, then it's just a matter of his condition to get back in shape.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The Jack Jumpers will play a practice match against the American College, where Bernie's Trey and Taryn Armstrong made their mark. California Baptist University will front up for the one-off game in Hobart on August 15.